Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Rhomaios Ram, CEO of Finality, to discuss how blockchain technology can address the biggest infrastructure challenges facing the global financial markets. Rhomaios, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much, Jill.
What are the biggest infrastructure challenges facing the global financial markets now?
Yeah, so the current infrastructure challenges are all about it being efficient and slow. So this is having a negative impact on many big and small institutions, ranging from liquidity restraints to rapidly reducing margins.
How can distributed ledger technologies be used to address these challenges?
Yeah, so what we're seeing with decentralized finance is it's sort of demonstrating firsthand that this new technology can be deployed to deliver a better efficiency outcome. So the main way that this comes is you remove the need for intermediaries, and this allows different participants to interact with each other directly. And this takes risk down, but it also means that they can operate more efficiently because they can face each other directly and see what transactions they've done with each other, and so on. All of this is obviously getting pioneered in the crypto market. So this can kind of show how that technology can be used to deliver better outcomes, faster, more secure, more reliable in traditional financial markets.
Explain to us what CBDCs are and how are they being developed? Where are they being developed?
Yeah, so CBDCs are central bank digital currency. And so you guess from the name that central bank digital currency is getting developed by central banks. And the reason that central banks are looking at this is because they want to have, there might be a need for society to have a payment asset that is backed by the central bank because they're the safest provider of payments, in each of their different jurisdictions. What the central banks are looking at now is, should they do something on blockchain in order to deliver the equivalent of dollar notes, but on the blockchain? And so CBDCs are essentially that. That thing.
Rhomaios, how important are private initiatives in bringing DeFi and TradFi together?
So private initiatives, I think, are actually the place where all the innovation takes place. So I think they're super important. I think it's critical that the private sector comes together and somehow finds a way to incorporate all of the innovations that we're finding in the DeFi space into the traditional finance space. So I believe that traditional finance and decentralized finance can actually offer something that's much safer for the global financial system than what currently exists.
What challenges do you see integrating blockchain technology into wholesale banking?
Yeah, there's going to be many challenges. So one of the chief ones that everyone would talk about is how is it going to get regulated, and in what way will the regulators identify who's accountable for these distributed systems to go forward. A second way that's challenging is actually all of the existing traditional finance players have set up their infrastructure in kind of old tech, to put it bluntly. And so the move to new tech is going to be kind of long and quite difficult because it's obviously quite risky to move your tech from one stack to another stack. And so that's going to be quite a challenge, I think, going forward.
Can you speak a bit more about the Finality global payment system?
Yeah, sure. So what we're building is basically a form of stablecoin, for want of a better word. We basically are building an institutional blockchain settlement system. So what do I mean by that? We're designed for wholesale payments, but our core innovation is that our settlement asset is backed by central bank reserves. So it's basically backed by central bank money. So everything that you transact in our system will have the credit quality of central bank money. That's very important when you're starting to do wholesale payments, because obviously big institutions paying each other are paying each other hundreds of millions of dollars, every minute. And so you need to make sure that the settlement asset has the highest possible credit quality.
And finally, where do you see DeFi in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so DeFi has obviously had a pretty rocky ride in the last 6 to 8 weeks. But I think just like all technological process, there are some underlying fantastic things that have been created in the DeFi space. And the question is, how do we take all the learnings of all of those innovations? And there will always be problems going forward, and different economic crises, et cetera, et cetera. How do we make them safer as we go forward? And so I think DeFi in the next couple of years, a lot of the methods of DeFi will start to come into the traditional finance space. And what we hope is that we'll start to provide some of the bridging between those two spaces.
All right, Rhomaios, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.